So hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Deep Dive with Crispina and myself, Stephen.
Hi, everyone.
So today we're talking about something that has been buzzing actually quite a bit.
Yes,
Yeah?
what everybody's been talking
Yep.
about for more than a week now, DeepSeek. I like the way the Financial Times described
Okay.
it, Steve. A little-known Chinese hedge fund has thrown a grenade into the world of AI with a model that matches market leader OpenAI at a fraction of the cost.
Yeah, so basically what people are saying is like, wow, this stuff has come online and it's only like, let's say $5 for a bowl of noodles that I used to pay $15 for. And it tastes just as good, right? You're like, wow, must be the MSG.
Okay, a bit like that, but a little bit more to it as well. I mean, I've been reading people calling it a deep freak out.
Yep.
You know, all the tech folks were hyperventilating when they saw it. The major tech stocks took a nosedive, right, for a while, and then they came back up. And then there are all sorts of questions. Who are these people who created this model, right? What does it mean for the AI race, and what does it mean for us?
Yeah, so
in
there's so
Singapore?
much deep thought into this. So we're going to do a deep dive since it's called DeepSeek. Your first reaction when you heard about DeepSeek? I mean, there have been many other AIs that are around, that have been on the market. They come out every day, but none have made so much noise as DeepSeek has. Why?
Maybe I start off with a couple of observations.
Okay.
First of all, DeepSeek version 3. It's version 3.
Yep.
They have been at this for a while. Second is
When was version 1 and 2?
version 1 and 2 was, I think they started in 21, 22.
Okay. So it came out, but nobody
And
heard about
actually,
it.
to be honest, version 3 came out before Christmas. Nobody cared.
Ah.
We can talk about why, but I think it's good to understand what is the facts
Okay.
to some
What are the
extent, right?
facts?
So the first fact is in AI, there's a lot of innovation. And this is just another innovation in a whole string of innovations.
Okay.
And if you look at data, we know this is true because you look at the number of papers published on AI, for example, it's like an exponential curve, right? Many of us in the field have said there's so much rapid change and innovation here.
Okay.
But actually, my real test is just look at ChatGPT. If you use ChatGPT or even DeepSeek today, and you used it 6 months ago, it's not the same. So we see
Much better.
it's improving a lot, and the DeepSeek is not. It's part of the story. It's not unique. It's
But
not
Okay.
why
unique,
did
yeah.
it
Yeah.
Yeah, but before
such a ripple?
so why?
Sorry, we're impatient
Yeah,
that way.
no,
Why?
why?
Just tell us why.
Okay, so why was I think the three things that DeepSeek did. So the first is they had certain techniques that improved the use of the GPU. The second is the model itself is very efficient to use. And the third is the training to make it reason well and to make it transparent in the reasoning. That's the R1 model, right?
Yeah.
So these are facts. These are real. It made it cheaper. It shows that you could make the performance better. It's more transparent.
Yeah.
Why does it have such a big impact? Well, before this, the view was only people with 100,000s of GPUs, not 10,000, but 100,000s of
And
GPUs,
hundreds of millions of
and
dollars.
billions of dollars could do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And here we have an example that shows it's not needed. And to be honest, many people in the field probably knew this beforehand,
Right.
Right.
because maybe again, what's different about AI innovation? Most of AI innovation is software.
Yep.
But when you have millions of people trying different things,
Right.
you get the organic innovation, right, happening. And maybe people publish
Okay.
it in Hugging Face.
Do you agree with that? Is that true? And why were they able to do it
It's like
so much cheaper?
a year and a half ago, I was talking to some friends in Beijing, and after DeepSeek came out, we spent like a whole weekend, the 5 hours talking in a group, like nonstop, for like 24 hours a day.
Okay, wow.
Because we're testing that.
You and all the tech guys on Reddit.
Yeah, I'm a geek, so so a year and a half ago, one of them told me that he said, I mean, somebody in China will eventually figure it out how to do this cheaply. And he said it will not be one of the venture invested ones. Because the venture invested ones, they will feel the pressure to deliver the metrics that investors are asking for. So it doesn't give them enough leeway and time to figure out how to do the incremental innovation
Okay.
needed. But I think at that time, that guy was saying that he thought most likely the person or the organization which will figure this out would be one of the crypto miners because they had lots of GPUs.
Okay.
And crypto mining is banned in China, so they have to deploy it elsewhere. But he didn't expect that to be DeepSeek.
So not entirely new to it. Anyway, for those of you in the industry, to find someone who's doing it so much cheaper and just as effective.
Cheaper. This trend will continue. Today is DeepSeek. We will
Tomorrow
wait
it
for
could be somebody
Llama
else.
4. They are going to stop Llama 4.
But that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Technology
Yes.
should always get
Yeah.
It
better.
does. So,
Yeah.
okay,
Right?
so what you're saying, Leslie, is that it was just a matter of time before somebody did it. It just happened that DeepSeek did it before anyone else.
Yes, and also we have narratives that were punctured because of this.
That's right.
The-
that you
the-
needed a lot of money,
yeah.
deep pockets, venture money,
And
etc.
the confluence of geopolitics, because again, it's like chip ban couldn't make this possible. So you had narratives, people saying, how did this become possible? They must have used chips that they were not allowed to use, right?
That's right.
But the truth is, when you stop people from doing something, they innovate. And in a way, they did innovate.
So did they use these NVIDIA chips?
We don't know, but certainly they used what was legal. And they
Okay.
made what was legal very efficient.
Yep.
And they did it because they couldn't use the lesser, bigger
Most
chips.
advanced ones, yeah.
Yeah, isn't it funny? It's almost like because you're broke and because you only have this box of tools to work with, you just make it work with what you have, right?
Necessity is the mother of invention.
Innovation,
right? Actually, to Jianggan's point,
Yeah.
and he would know this,
Yeah.
this group were quants, right? They
Yes.
their origins was in, maybe they were not directly crypto, but they were quant hedge funds,
Financial.
yes, who had an incentive to reprogram the chips to be more efficient.
Yeah.
And also, I think these guys are very good at sensing what's out there, what kind of information would cause what kind of effect. So I do think that knowledge will probably help them propagate the knowledge. I mean, the timing of all these releases and stuff.
So a bit of marketing, you mean?
I think they know how the market will react to certain news, and they, I wouldn't say manipulate, but I think they certainly leveraged all this buzz in the media very well.
Somebody was actually saying that it's
Yeah.
not just a complete coincidence,
Yep.
that there's some of that, but we don't know. But I mean, one thing that some observers have said, that the Chinese it's not new for the Chinese to make things which are cheap and good. I mean, you talk about cars, talk about batteries, talk about vacuum
Yeah.
cleaners, the whole bunch of it. So in a sense, that's in their DNA, right? Would you agree?
Kai-Fu Lee, right? A long time ago, he wrote a book, well, what seems like a long time ago, right? Where in the book, he observes that innovation in the US in AI will be at the frontier in theory, right?
Yeah.
Theory. In China, the innovation will be driven by lots of data and lots of experimentation. And in a way,
That's come true.
yes, that's what's happening right now, right? And in a way, that's what broadly is how many things moves in tech, right? You have
Right.
the stepwise like new idea, like a transformer.
Okay.
That's from 2018. It still powers most of. Then you have the constant like little bit, push down, and that comes from many people trying many things. And
Yep.
the scale of China.
You would imagine that 2 years since ChatGPT first came out was all the buzz, right?
Yeah.
You would have lots of people trying different things. And
Exactly.
all my friends, actually, when ChatGPT came out, the first version in, I think, November 2022,
Yes.
That's right.
within a week, I know at least 3 or 4 companies of my friends, they have completely pivoted from their existing business models. They said, okay, there's no way our existing business model will work.
It's gonna work.
We take the remaining money we've raised from investors, we try new things. And we we multiply that by, I don't know, hundreds of companies, hundreds of teams. And of course, someone's going to figure out.
I mean, it's a bit of a race, like an arms race. It's an AI race. Who gets out first, right? In a way, have they sort of set a new benchmark? Because by coming out and saying, "Hey, it's this cheap," now the next time an investor goes to a company, I'm not gonna give you $50 million when I know some guy did it for 5.
Investors are very anxious because previously, I mean, the thing about AI is that, when you invest in a company, how do you value this company when
Yes.
this company continues need more money?
Okay.
You can't use the same metric of how many users you have or how much revenue you're generating. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, because of how fast it's moving.
It's a whole topic in itself, but like where do you make money, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
if you are the shovel provider like NVIDIA, you don't really care. More people use it.
Yeah.
But if you're a model builder, the challenge for you is your models. If you try to create a mode by being closed, like OpenAI or Anthropic, then you have these open models that are roughly free. How do you charge for your model, right?
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what we were going to come to, because this is the proprietary.
Yep.
That means I'm building something and I charge you for it, right? $200 or whatever for you to use. And then there's this open stuff, which I can, maybe my own engineers a total around with it and then come up with their own product, customize it to my needs, right? That's a huge difference, isn't it?
So one answer is you actually cannot make money from these models. They are commodities.
Right.
Right. So sorry to say, like it takes billions of dollars for a front leader to show it's possible.
Okay.
Then the rest of us will just follow
That's right.
and make it very cheap, right?
Yes.
And so that's not where the moat is. So there are investors.
So where's
who
the
say-
moat? How are they going to make money?
So many people say, okay, one strategy is invest in the shovels, right? The people who make the shovels. The other is the people who make the applications, right? They control the data, they control the use case, they know the customer. They can make the money.
Okay.
But in a way, do you see that OpenAI now?
It's trying to do that too.
I mean, it has application. Yeah.
Because they have built, remember in the early days, they would say like, we are not going to compete with you.
Yeah.
You build the application and we are just here for you to use.
Yeah.
So why would I invest if I'm a company, in OpenAI products if I could just use someone like DeepSeek, which has its innards on the outside, so to speak, right?
Yeah. Would you put your money in there?
Because now they're selling their products, for enterprise users, for personal use, etc. Yeah. Why would I pay for that much of money?
All my friends the ones who still have customers outside China, where they are physically inside China, they still use OpenAI for enterprise applications, because at the end of the day, DeepSeek is still very new. It's not stable, even for enterprise usage. So they can't put full trust on that yet. But this might flip. We don't know yet.
That's just a matter of time, right?
Possibly, but there are other complications, right?
Yeah.
In open source, we have, so actually the most widely used operating software in the world is arguably open source.
Okay.
Right? It's
Linux,
which is, Mac is part of it, Android is part of it. But Linux has actually an enterprise version for which people will pay, even though it's open source, right? Yeah. So there are models, like in many things that we use, the underlying technology may be open source, but when it comes to a business or government, you pay somebody to make it more safe, more supported. So that's another model. The second level is that you can download these models, but it takes a bit to set it up.
Yeah.
And so people, even if you're a developer, instead of downloading it and it's free, you don't mind paying somebody to
Just
give
set
you
it up for you.
And that's called an API.
Right.
Call it.
To make your life easier. Say, I want to do this, but you help me get there by figuring out the whole thing in between.
And just to also add complications, even like DeepSeek, there are 3 ways at least I can use DeepSeek. I can call the DeepSeek API. That's going to China.
Okay.
Right? So that's one. Then there are these services like Amazon or others who have, or Huawei Cloud has put it on their system.
Yep.
Then I can use that, right?
Yep.
And lastly, I can do it myself. All have different costs and implications.
Okay.
Do you think that OpenAI, is used by enterprises more because it has this time advantage, right? It was forced to reckon with enterprise customers earlier, so that's why they have built this system earlier.
Yeah, it's like a first mover advantage, right?
Right.
And all the data they've gathered, to make their systems stronger
a bit better, but also don't underestimate this, right? For businesses, for we as users or even people who are developer, we want all the extra frills, right? Like more power, more. Sounds good. But for enterprise wants predictability
and stability
and consistency.
Yeah.
Right. And so what OpenAI, so it might be like this: 5 people build a model. To service an enterprise, you need 200 people.
Right.
Okay.
That's
So
true.
you can imagine the
Right,
difference here, right? Again, DeepSeek, 20
Yeah.
people reportedly.
That's
Now,
right.
if they want to build a business, suddenly they have to build this
Exactly.
organization.
They can't use their interns and their PhD students anymore.
And the companies will not trust them, right?
Yeah.
Look at their profile, CVs and stuff. Yeah.
The question is, if we know that DeepSeek has certain biases for China, we may know that ChatGPT has certain biases for the US. Then it's just like watching Fox News or CNN. You know that they both are biased to different parties, right? Political parties.
So I think at least for me, I observe this as a fact, and we should know it.
Yeah.
I guess I don't get upset that this is happening.
So today when I was doing some work and I had a few AI tools open at the same time, I have Grok. So I think lots of people have lots of opinions about Groks. I mean the Elon Musk ex-affiliated chatbot.
Elon Musk is a whole different podcast.
Yeah.
We can spend a lifetime talking about
So
it.
Grok represents the others.
Oh, so the anti-woke kind of...
Yeah.
So basically, I have Grok.
They're not woke, they're
I
asleep.
didn't know that it opens a different discussion. I try that with different things, and sometimes if we give them the same task, we can clearly see that how the different models are trained differently. So, for instance, I was asking the models to draw me a picture of a politician with a business figure. I will not name which ones.
Okay.
Because we try to create a sort of a poster or something, and ChatGPT would tell me that because our content policy we can't do it, and DeepSeek would say that I don't draw pictures now. Grok gave me 4 versions saying that which one do you like. I look at the 4 versions. I said, okay, there's no way I'm going to post any of them or any of my social media.
Very inappropriate?
It can be interpreted in very negative ways.
Okay.
As you can see that, all these models are biased in different ways. I would consider myself a relatively informed user, so I check different things before I actually use it. I do think that policymakers would probably be even in a better position, right? And then look at different possibilities out there. They look at the biases, and they can make an informed decision of what.
Because we all have biases as human beings.
Yeah,
exactly. That's inherent. So we tell people too that when you look at the media, don't just read one source. Read several news agencies and get a sense of the story, because everybody will tell the story a little bit differently.
But I'm afraid that most people are not like him, They're not having 5 different ChatGPTs open.
Even if you have 3, you got to just compare.
I'm telling you, the kid in university who's using ChatGPTs to write his essays is just going to pick whatever it gives him.
But that's maybe a separate point, but this is why we need to help people understand how to use these AI models. And actually, Steve's point is really important. You need to know the weaknesses and the strengths.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And don't believe that this thing is perfect.
That's right.
It's not.
Take it for what it says it is.
It's very powerful. It's great. I'm a big fan, but it's not perfect.
Depending on how you prompt it, you can kind of get the results you want too. So,
it's getting better today, but the used to be fun thing to do is it gives you an answer and you say, I think you're wrong. And then the whole answer changes.
I see what you mean. Let me rethink it. And then it gives you another answer.
That's right.
Different AIs nowadays have sort of different sort of trait, because if someone gives me a piece of work, I can clearly tell that which AI helped that person write it.
Seriously? Yeah.
Once you are exposed to that long enough, you see some patterns.
Yeah. And that's why sometimes when we use models, we also know, they use GPT-4 to train this, because it starts to sound like
wow, we need to be
the personality, the voice of the AI.
Interesting.
Yeah, it does make sense.
We can't talk about this without talking about how it will impact us, right? In terms of jobs, professionally, for example, we're all deep into this. Every company I know is experimenting. How is it making your work more efficient? How can you do things better? And some people are saying it's even displacing some very junior level jobs, which ChatGPT can do. How worried are you on a scale of 1 to 10?
2.
2, worried. Okay, not worried. Leslie?
I'm a 10.
Yeah, 10, you're worried. Okay, now tell us why.
Okay, 2, I think Leslie kind of answered my question, right? Because if you are people like Leslie who worry that at the level of 10, then I don't have to worry as a casual user. But
no, we won't let you get away with that answer. You have to tell. Okay, so you're optimistic that humans will adapt?
I'm optimistic for the long term. I'm a little bit cautious about the short term, because I do see that when ChatGPT came out, when Midjourney came out, I do see at least some of my friends, gaming studios started laying off people, because graphic design and certain functions, they could do it more efficiently and they need fewer people. And we can always say that, the skills can be retrained, people can, it will open new opportunities, but there's always a gap between the time that jobs get displaced versus the time that new jobs get created, and it's painful for people, especially people who have been trained as a specialist, and if their jobs are at risk, it's much harder for that to be replaced, right?
Okay. But you're still confident that overall humans will prevail. I mean, it's not going to really take away.
I'm kind of technology sort of optimist, and
Okay.
maybe it's not right to say. I mean, I look at global warming. I don't like it, but I'm not terribly worried about it. I'm hoping that someone would find a technology
Because
solution
technology will help it. Yeah.
to solve it.
I'm not worried because
eventually.
I'll be dead by then. So I figured. Right?
Amen to that. Okay, what about you? Why are you so worried?
It's actually same point as Jianggan. Technology is generally a positive thing. Economists are really positive about it, but this speed is very fast.
Yeah.
So it's a timing problem. And for me, it's good to be at 10 because I want to make sure the technology is used for human good.
Yeah.
But the profit motive is,
Right.
policymakers will say AI is to augment, not replace. Unfortunately, the profit motive is, what are you talking about? Let's be truthful about this.
That's right.
It's to replace.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so, and this is happening so fast, right? Our systems cannot. I am worried we can't absorb this actually. So it's better to be more alarmist in that situation than to say it's okay.
So in other words, then we'll be forced to figure out how to protect even the transition. You were saying, right? Even
I think the transition is important. Remember,
It is, yeah.
Remember people say the Industrial Revolution was a good thing.
Yeah.
Yes, it was, but 2 generations of workers suffered before the good thing happened.
Yeah. Change is always hard. But at the same time, you could look at it that what has happened has forced us to think again. So we were kind of, ChatGPT came out, and then after a while, we're all kind of like, okay. Then suddenly another, hello, wake up again.
Which is actually the broader message, right?
Yeah.
The prices come down, it's be even easier to use.
Yep.
Even more innovations will happen.
That's right.
And we have to move faster.
Right.
Unfortunately, it's not easy because technology is moving faster than society can
Can
figure
cope,
this
right?
out.
Yeah.
And can meet it. Yeah, I'm glad, Steve,
Okay. I mean,
that I learned how to write when none of this was happening. Right?
But now you don't need to write that well because you can cheat. You can use.
but then now all this becomes augmentation tools for you, but for people who are fresh out of university, they might not have that opportunity
Yes.
to
Exactly.
train for that.
So the challenge is that I observe many of us like good coder. You know what's good coding, and the GPT or Claude is really good at it. Makes you a better coder, faster, more productive.
Right.
But the problem is you learn through hard. You have an instinct. You learn, right? The younger junior coder never gets a chance now because I'm not going to use a junior coder. I'm using ChatGPT, right? Or Claude.
Right.
So you don't get a chance to practice, right? How will you become a master
Exactly.
coder?
Well, let's not be too pessimistic. The answer will be
Yeah.
the answer will be actually the AI can help you become that, right?
You can become a master faster.
But the profit motive may not. So it's not that we don't know how to solve it, but
Yeah.
the profit motive may not be there to do it. Because
Right.
as a business, I have no interest in doing this.
No, because the poor junior
Yeah.
coder is not
And
going to
also-
get a job.
And also, as a business, as someone who runs a business, I mean, you have this fear, right? If my competitors uses this
That's right.
to improve their productivity,
Yeah.
I'm forced to react.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't have the luxury.
Yeah.
Even if you wanted, you don't have the luxury.
So everyone is forced to just do things faster and be more reactive, which means, like all the tech companies, you hire all of a sudden, then you fire again, and then 6 months later you hire again. You keep, it goes
I mean,
up
I
and
don't think
down.
we have that many big, headlines, at least in Singapore. But I'm beginning to hear stories about like junior coders,
Yeah.
web designers, moderators, content moderators, all these
Voice-over
things.
artists, that's what I'm hearing.
Oh, well, I better.
I mean,
write-
even
yeah.
podcasts, right? Sorry to say this,
Yeah,
but
yeah. They
no
can
put
be-
Don't
LLM.
be sorry.
They can be fully. Yes, we've heard of that.
We can do something else, right, Steve?
Yeah. Well,
Not the same.
Not
I
the same.
rather sell my voice and then they can put whatever.
Oh
Then at least I have royalties
And then
forever when I
royalties,
retire. That's a better. So do you like my voice? Think Okay. Anyway,
The story is far from over, right? The race is going to become intense. So I
Yeah.
guess buckle up, everybody.
That's right. We're in for a long and could be pretty bumpy ride.
That's right.
Thanks, guys, for coming in, sharing
Thank
your
you.
insights with us. Thanks to all of you who have been, joining us. Leave us your comments. Let us know what you think. This is one topic that is going to be hanging over our heads for, I think, the next few months and years to come.
Okay, this podcast has a
Yes.
very capable human team behind it, thankfully.
Yeah, but I think some of them use AI to also come up with our.
Tiffany Ang, Saya Win, Junaidi Johari, Joanne Chan, and Hanida Amin. Thank you and see you next week.
See ya.